this channel is all about my personal hobby journey, what I'm doing in my own hobby at home that's keeping me entertained. Now, I'm a massive Death Guard player and I've just finished another unit of Plague Marines. But what I didn't want to do is just put another how to paint Plague Marine video out. I've done a few over the years on the channel. I think the first one I did sort of 3-4 years ago now was starting off with a Retributor armor base coat and starting off with that brass and going over that layer. Really effective technique, did that for quite a while. I've done another video where it's going off with a lead belcher base coat, again starting off with a metallic base coat but a different metallic. And then I've done a video where I've taken the Kill Team set and I've done some extra effects with kind of cracked armour and those kind of things. So I've featured Plague Marines quite a few times. Didn't want to do that again, but what I'm going to talk about in this video is kind of the approach to building this particular squad, why it's different to what I've done before, and why I think actually that the Plague Marine squads at the moment, before they inevitably get hit by the nerf bat, are, I believe, the most powerful battle line unit in the game. So I went about this squad totally different to normally, because normally I do rule of cool. I would ordinarily, as you've seen on the channel before, do my Plague Marine squad 7 strong, because that's the number of Nurgle, etc. And you see there I hadn't quite let the Nurgles rot dry when I was taking these off the bases. Probably slightly foolish, giving it a bit more time. But yeah, I've always gone that kind of rule of cool. This time I've done something different. Now, I started off the foundation of the squad knowing I'd already got a couple of Plague Marines that weren't going anywhere. So I've got the Plague Marine Champion, and this was from the Chosen of Mortarion set. He already existed. I'd painted him previously in that Chosen. This is the model that comes as the spare parts on the Poxwalker sprue and leads to the most asked question about Death Guard on any forum, and I'll link that video down below. So giving up this Plague Marine squad to be the most effective shooting and close combat and really most devastating unit you can think of. Starting off with the Blight Launcher, D3 shots, hitting on a 3, strength 6, -1 AP and 2 damage. Now bear in mind they are lethal hits as well, so you hit the 6, that's going to be that auto wound piece, which is really effective. So 2 of those in the squad, you're allowed 1 per 5. Then dropping in a couple of plasma guns. We all know there's a bit of variety with plasma guns, but if you go on the supercharge, 3+ to hit, strength 8, -3 AP and 2 damage. Now remember, this AP can be stacked with the afflicted rule. So if you take the -1 to your armour when that unit's afflicted, these will be devastating because that's going to be sort of -4 to that AP. You know, you're going to be shooting Terminators and ripping right through them, etc. So there's other stacking combos to come fairly soon, but even straight away, as I'm lifting the sheet up and down here, I don't know what I'm doing in the background in this video, but the damage output potential just from those 4 shooting models starts to become monstrous. Now moving into melee, completely forgot to show you the unit champion model. He's got a plasma pistol, again can add in, but going into melee, heavy plague weapons. So you're getting 3 attacks, you're hitting on a 4, it's strength 8, -2 and 2 damage. Again, pretty devastating, and these do have lethal hits. Again, we'll talk about the buffs later, but 4 of those in there, the potential damage output, even without any buffs, even without the opponent being afflicted, starts to become horrendous. Remember, when you're in that affliction range, the opponents are getting -1 toughness plus whatever add-on you take. Now, I would generally take the -1 to the armour because it really, really stacks. Again, in combat there, we've got the champion with a power fist. We all know how effective power fists can be. Now, talking about the buffs to this unit, the Biologious Putrefier, a couple of really nice rules. He has got a Hyper Blight Grenade, which can again add some damage, but the main thing he's in there for is he buffs you, so your critical hits are scored on a 5 or a 6. So 1/3 of the time you roll that dice, that's that automatic wound. Now, dropping in the Malignant Plague Caster makes it even more effective because he gives you the Gift of Contagion, which you get sustained hits 1. So every one of those 1 in 3 chances that you're going to automatically wound also is going to give you that extra attack as well. So a pretty horrendous set of buffing. Doing a few sort of math hammer things in the background, these guys just on shooting can kill 6 or 7 Terminators. Then you add that combat potential, and it goes to, they can just wipe out a unit of 10 Terminators with no hassle. Now, transporting them, I opted for a Land Raider. So again, Land Raider can transport up to 14 models. Again, infantry can drop a Terminator in there if you want, but 12 models in here. The Land Raider itself packs a punch. I've chosen to drop in a Lord of Virulence into this unit, which he can't lead them because he doesn't use them. But what he can do is he has the Blight Bombardment rule, so when he jumps out of the vehicle, he can make a unit re-roll a hit roll of 1. So if he can make that Land Raider re-roll those 1s to hit, etc. And I'm stacking it with this guy. 1 Bolt Gun Armed Marine, who will be the casualty, but he could shoot off at a totally separate target to afflict that other target, meaning -1 to their armor saves. Also, they're weaker. So actually the Land Raider, in stacked with Lord of Virulence, could shoot at a totally different target or could fire at what is right in front of this squad. So this really, the damage output that Plague Marines can now have is horrendous. This is not the sort of squad I would have traditionally built. I would never have traditionally built a squad like this because this really is going for damage output, but it's relatively characterful. But very, very much power gaming. Now this squad comes to about 650 points, so it's a lot more than I would ever sort of stack up. But it's a scary ranged and melee output. So here's the vision. The Land Raider pulls in. Before it fires, the Lord of Virulence comes out, allocates a target, so the Land Raider can be re-rolling misses of 1. Okay, fantastic. Land Raider can start firing, taking some damage down. We've got the Biologist Putrefier, who is going to buff the unit that's about to get out and give them lethal hits, but also he's got his own attacks and weaponry there. The Malignant Plaguecaster is going to make the units give sustained hits as well as lethal hits, and then when the unit pops out, it's going to pour its fire from the Blight Launchers. Really going to be devastating when you stack that up, thinking they're going to get D3 shots each, hit on a 5 or a 6. That's an extra hit, and they auto wound. Same with the plasma guns. You know what I mean? They're going to potentially be getting extra shots when they fire, so it is going to start pouring the damage out. Your bulk unarmed Marine is going to hop out, and maybe he's going to shoot the target in front, or maybe he's going to split his fire off and shoot something else that a Land Raider can then target, and he will then afflict that other unit. And then if the shooting that you're pouring fire into what's in front of you doesn't do the job, we've got the whole unit's going to pile in, but with 4 heavy plague weapons. This squad is lethal. Doing some math hammer, and when I rolled it up against the Reaver Titan, and believe it or not, this unit took down a fully unhurt Reaver Titan. Now the trick is getting them to that Reaver Titan, but hey ho, that's the thing. So totally different style of video from me today. Hope you enjoyed that. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on another one.